Hello everybody, it's Pinion. Today I'm going to be making a speed paint voiceover about how I come up with my OCs and their stories. So these are just my opinions and some methods I use. I have absolutely no trouble coming up with OCs and stories and world building, and I have way too many characters and way too many stories, and I can't really work on all the projects at the same time, so I don't have any trouble with that, but I thought it would be fun to talk about some methods I use and give you some examples of my own characters and worlds I have using those different methods. And yeah, I would just like to say that these methods might not work for everyone, and it's just what I like to do. I've seen a lot of people who get inspired by the same sort of things, but anyways, we're gonna get started. So something that I don't use as often, but I would like to use it more often, is experiences. So something you're going through emotionally, a theoretical question you're trying to answer, or an experience you had, are all great things for stories and characters to be based off of. Yeah, so I don't know really how to talk about that stuff because I'm not very good at explaining it, or like what I was thinking. I am very opinionated and I have a lot of thoughts on I don't know what to call it, like the point of life and human perspective on things. So yeah, on that note, Julian is a Loxan character I created when I was thinking a lot about evolution and how humans think they're so superior to everything else and really are probably not the final product. But yeah, that's what Julian's whole point in the story was. And since I fell so much in love with his design and his personality and sort of his outlook on life, I ended up making him a very important part of this most recent Pinion book I'm working on. And yeah, he's a good story point. You probably know I like Julian a lot, if you're familiar with my channel very much. I drew him a lot, and yeah, lots of fun with that. So also a lot of when I was writing Rover, which is my absolutely horrible short story about, well, not really short story, but smaller novel about the rebellion in the city realm, I was not familiar very much with the characters' personalities as much as I am now. Writing that whole book sort of broadened their personality, and I could make a whole nother video about that. But for Pinion specifically, a lot of his personality came from my personality, and I didn't know his personality had some of those attributes, which I now know. I was writing him in a lot of crowd scenes, and he's in a big city in a new area, so a lot of his introverted personality really came out when I was writing those scenes. Really came from me because I was thinking, like, how would I feel in that situation? So a lot of that, yeah, like, I think everyone's characters are in some way based off their personality, or they're trying to make their character polar opposite of their personality, because a lot of characters have more simple personality than human characters. So you can take your different human traits and different sides of you and make them all to all sorts of different characters that have totally different personalities than each other, and I think that's really cool. A little bit off the point and ranty there. Anyways, another thing that inspires me a lot is songs and other media, way more than my experiences. Songs a lot inspire me to make certain character backstories, and more often than songs inspire characters, parts of their backstories, pre-established characters, are inspired by songs. So let's say I have a character and I listen to a song and I think it really fits them, and there are some lines in the songs that refer to something possibly in someone's backstory that I decide to make fit so the character fits the song better. And I do that sort of stuff a lot. It's more common than basing a whole entire OC off a story. So for example, the song Ship in a Bottle, I think that works really well for Julian, and the whole no one to help you thing I integrated into his backstory with giving him having a very lonely childhood and all that sort of stuff. For an example of having characters that are actually entirely inspired by songs, I have a character named Rita, inspired by the Imagine Dragons song Enemy, and she is specifically the line where it's like the part where it's tell you you're the greatest, and then it says and you turn your back and they hate us. That reminds me a lot of like how people talk really positively about the people in power around them sometimes when they want to get into their inner circle, even though they do not like that person and are possibly trying to murder them. Yeah, that's where Rita's story came from. Yeah. So part of Philip talking about other media was based off of Lost in Space, which I watched. The original whole idea for Philip came from a character I had adopted, but the story, a lot of it was based off of Lost in Space, the Netflix TV show, which I really like, and I was watching it at the time, and I think I don't remember what it's called, but like, I do not like space. Space is creepy, and I would never want to go there, and that's sort of the outlook of my main character in Philip, and yeah, that space scene and being lost in space just kind of creeps me out, so that's where the idea for that came from. So yeah, songs and other media can inspire stories. Just make sure you don't copy too closely, because people will be like, that looks like such and such, even if it's quite different. I mean, there are a lot of tropes and plot devices that are used over and over, so it's kind of hard, I mean, literally impossible to make an entirely original story. So you can get inspiration from other things that you like or that you're feeling just then. The most common thing I get inspired by, though, is characters. A lot of, at least half of my characters are, well, I would say a third at least, are characters I adopted from someone else. So those characters, I write stories for the characters instead of stories, and then the characters fill the plot points. For example, Ghost, my little boy. He's like a tan cat with a white face and chest, so I thought Ghost would be a really cute name for him, and then I'm like, wait, what if he ended up actually being a ghost? And yeah, that's how Ghost got his name and the premise for the original story, and then I ended up designing a character named Lula. And when I got Ghost, I got another character at the same time from the same creator, who's got like a heart-shaped marking on his chest. And when I designed Lula, I gave her like a necklace with a heart on it. Both of those were totally unattached, but I decided that I would make them connect in the story together, and that Lula would have the this is gonna sound weird, but she would have the heart from the other character's chest. Yeah, the other one would be having that heart marking because Lula had his heart. That sounds so weird, but if you want to know what I'm talking about, you'll just have to watch my LPS series. So yeah, there. Yeah. So also the character I'm drawing is I'm just want to talk a little bit about the drawing. She's an activist, and she ends up murdering a bunch of people because they were polluting, and they had this factory, so she murdered all the factory workers and broke down the factory and then planted a bunch of trees and did a bunch of stuff. I just wanted to say that because the drawing might look kind of random. But yeah, so yes, have a great day. This is sort of a longer one of my videos. Sorry, my videos are being very inconsistent in their scheduling. Book and Rover